Hello and welcome to the Stitch Together podcast. My name is Chrissy, I'm your host. The date is Friday the 26th of February 2016 and this is episode 29. Welcome. It's really good to be back chatting with you today from my delicious beige sofa. It's a nice sunny day here in Leicester and I think it was last time I spoke to you. It's seems to be getting brighter these days. It's definitely affecting my mood positively, having more sunshine. Doesn't matter what the temperature is, as long as there's sunshine. I definitely think that's something a lot of us need, just to make us feel on an even keel. So it's good to be looking at more sunshine on a daily basis. I hope the weather is okay where you are. I know there have been some places in the US that haven't had good weather recently, and I hope you're all safe and well and all your loved ones are safe and well. It seems like there's been an awful lot of bad, big weather in recent years, and it makes me very grateful to be in a part of the world where we don't really have that many problems in terms of bad weather, and I hope everyone's okay. And I guess I should start with stuff and things. I'm sort of feeling pretty good today, which is a good thing because I went out to my very first Weavers, Spinners and Dyers Guild meeting on Saturday last week, and I was there for about 4 hours and I didn't really suffer that badly from it, and that's sort of staggered me a bit. I was expecting to be laid to waste for a good week or two, but I managed it. I took my I've got a memory foam cushion that goes in the base of my wheelchair, which sort of gives an extra comfort when I'm being pushed around over sort of bouncy ground and stuff. And I took it with me because I thought the chairs there might not be that comfortable. So that helped a lot. The chairs weren't that comfortable, but I had my rollator with me and I sort of put it in front of me, put the brakes on and sort of stuck my feet on the wheels on either side of me, and that sort of tipped me slightly backwards, which was actually not a bad position for me comfort wise. So that's good to know that sort of jigging around with stuff can make things a bit better. So yeah, I was really surprised at what it was like. It was the first time I'd ever gone to a Weaver, Spinners and Dyers Guild meeting, and I'd not really spoken very much to anybody who had been. And I was expecting it to be maybe like 10, 12 people. And I walked in the door and there was about 40 odd people there, and it was just like, all these people are spinners. I was like, I have never seen this many spinning wheels ever. And it was just this huge, well, it's not huge, but it was a community hall filled with people spinning. And it was like, I've come home. It was just fantastic. And it was, I was really pleasantly surprised. I saw a couple of people there that I knew from knitting and didn't know that they'd joined the guild because I'd not seen them for a few months. So it was really good to see them and catch up with them. And another woman came up to me and was like, oh, Chrissy, it's really good to see you. And I was like, I have no idea who you are. I was just filled with shame. Apparently, a few years ago, she'd come along to a couple of knitting group meetings when I used to go to one in a shop. And she'd given me a lift home a couple of times. And I was like, I can't believe I couldn't remember her. It was just, I think it was because it was completely out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting to see knitting people there unless there were people I knew were spinners. And it was just so much fun, and everyone was so friendly and welcoming and chatty and interested and interesting, and it was great. It was quite an informal one because they just had a show and tell where people brought their stuff and sort of laid it out for people to come and have a look at. So there was no sort of official framework to the meeting. And next month, apparently, they are doing a spinning wheel speed dating, which I'm really excited about because I've never ever sat on a spinning wheel before. And I've always been a bit unsure about whether I'll be able to manage it or not. But as I've been able to sit up for longer which has sort of happened since I've sort of changed my diet and started taking supplements and all that sort of thing, I'm able to sit up for a bit longer now. And it's like, well, maybe I could use a spinning wheel. You know, even if it's just half an hour a day, it'd be, you know, I could manage that. So I'm kind of excited about the idea of the possibility of maybe trying out a spinning wheel or 7. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But there were some really beautiful wheels there, and it's like, I want one. But it was kind of cool because I took my sports spindles because I was working on some stuff, and everyone was really curious about the sports spindling. And there was another woman there who was a spindler, but she was a drop spindler, and she came over to chat to me for a bit as well. And it was just really nice to be around spinners, because I've not really had that before. There've been a couple of people who've been at knitting groups who have been spinners, but we've been at a knitting group. So the main focus of it has been the knitting, it's not been the spinning. So it was exciting to be around other spinners. It was good fun, and I'm really looking forward to going again. And it's handy now because it's only 10 minutes to drive away, so I don't feel bad about asking my other half to sort of cart me back and forth. And it meant that when I sort of hit my wall, so to speak, and couldn't cope any longer and sort of started shaking, which happens sometimes, I was able to just ring him, and he was there in 10 minutes to sort of help me get all my gear back in the car. So it was good. I really enjoyed it, and really looking forward to going back again. So that was my big news since I last spoke to you. And yeah, hopefully next time I go, I'll be able to tell you how I got on with the spinning wheel. Sort of part of me is thinking it would be so much better if you don't get on with the spinning wheel. So much better, because you won't want one. And it's like, they're expensive and they take up room. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to beg for a spinning wheel probably for about 5 years before I get one, because they're not cheap. So anyway, stuff and things, the rest of stuff and things. The main thing is the Stitch Together Self-Indulgent Craft Along, which finishes on the sort of end of 29th of February. So you've only got a couple of days from when this goes live, which will probably be tomorrow, which will be the 27th. But hopefully this reminder will get people sort of in a flurry of activity posting their photos, because I'm assuming, because this is what happens to me often, is you finished your project but you've not posted the photo yet. That's what usually happens to me with knit alongs. I sort of forget. I have a sort of impetus at the beginning to get it done and blocked and finished, and I'm really happy with my project, and then I forget to post the photo in the FAQ thread. So get going with that. I will lock thread when I get up on the 1st of March, and then I'll do random drawings for the 3 prizes that I showed you in the last episode. So there are photos of those prizes in the Ravelry threads, and also on the show notes from last episode, and that's on the website, which is www.stitchtogether.co.uk. So kind of excited to see all the finished projects. It's been a lot of really cool projects, some really beautiful stuff, and it's been exciting to see what people have wanted to knit that makes them happy. So I guess we should start moving on to Done and Dusted. I have over here something that is completely out of the blue for you, unless you follow me on Instagram. I have finished a new shawl. This yarn, I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at my monitor. This yarn is from Countess Ablaze. It is Lady Persephone 4-ply, and it's in the Eccentric Geeks colourway. And it's Lady Persephone is, I think it's 75%, it's about 75% Blueface Leicester, 25% nylon, so it's a pretty robust yarn. But it's got really nice drape. Really like Blueface Leicester for lace shawls, because they just hang really nicely. And I got this yarn in January, I've not showed it yet because I've not finished going through my Black Friday stuff yet. And my mum gave me Countess Blaze voucher for Christmas, so I got this and another skein, and it's just been so grey, and I just looked at it and thought, I really want a nice, easy, simple, straightforward project, and this is really bright and colourful, and I just need to find a easy shawl pattern to make with it, and couldn't find anything. So I decided that I was just going to make it up as I went along. So what I've done is, let me see how easy it will be to show you this. The trouble with variegated yarn is it looks great in person, but on a camera it just looks like someone had an accident with the crayons. And it's an elongated crescent, which is one of my favourite shapes for sort of small shawls, like single skein shawls. And it's very, very simple. It's got stocking stitch, garter stitch, and this very simple mesh. Very, very straightforward, easy pattern. And it's just, I'm really, really happy with it. And I actually had to frog it, rip it back about 3 times in order to get the right sort of size and shape and all the rest of it. And you can't tell. I mean, the yarn is still pristine. So it's, I imagine it'd be fantastic for sock yarn. But I'm really, really happy with it. It's fantastic. Let me see if I can show you. You can see the stitch pattern a bit there, but it's, that's the colour it is. It's got a lot of green in it, as well as those sort of pinks and oranges and things. It's an amazing colourway, and it feels great to wear it. Doesn't really go with what I'm wearing at the moment, so I'm just really happy with it. It was just maybe 3 days start to finish project, and it just really made me happy to make it. So, and I've been wearing it a lot. It just sits really nicely. It almost looks like a cowl because I sort of tuck the ends underneath the sort of drapey bit, and the sort of stocking stitch panels kind of droop together, so it ends up almost being staggered, and all you can see is the mesh. I'm just really happy with how it's turned out. So I actually wrote the pattern as I went with that on my pattern template. Normally I just sort of scribble notes in my notebook, and this time I just decided it was so straightforward, I was just going to type it straight into my pattern as I went. And that means that a pattern has been written, so I'll talk about that a bit more later. So the other things that I have finished since we last spoke is the spinning. Both of them are spinning projects. First off, I have the New Zealand half bred fibre. Let me show you. That's what it looks like. That's the colour. But when you can sort of see it closer, you can see, though that's a lot lighter than it is in actual fact, you can see the sort of the reds and the greens that you can't see when it's back here. And it's incredibly soft and bouncy. It's beautiful stuff. The fibre was from Heavenly Wools, who are based in New Zealand, and this fibre is fantastic. It's 24.5 microns, and it's there's a lot of merino in the breed of sheep. It's New Zealand sheep. If I can show you. Really pleased with how it came out. It's a true 3-ply, and I spun it worsted, and I started off with 200 grams, and I ended up with 285 meters, and it is a worsted weight. Yes, worsted weight. It's actually, because it was a roving, it's semi-worsted spin, which is when you have a woolen prep but spun in a worsted style. So you get a lot more air into the spinning, but you still have the overall smoothness and strength that you get from a worsted style spinning. So I don't know if you can see, but it's got a lot of bounce in it, and it's very soft and springy, and I'm really excited about knitting with it. It feels amazing against the skin, but the dye lot, the colourway is Dragon's Breath over Natural Grey, so it was over a natural grey colour, which is why you get that depth of colour. That's pretty true. Yeah, that's pretty true. So I've got a decent yardage. I can probably get a hat and a cowl out of it, and I'm really looking forward to sort of finding the right project for that. So I'm definitely going to be getting some more stuff from there, because it was very good value and the colourways are fantastic. So there's a link in the show notes to Heavenly Wools. I really recommend you go and have a look at our Etsy shop. It's fantastic. The other project I finished was Knitty and Colour. It's a superwash Targhee, and the colourway is Early Fall. I'll show it off while I'm reading. It's spun as a worsted 2-ply, and it's about a bit heavy fingering weight, and I've got 375 meters from 110 grams. So I've got a decent yardage from it, and part of me is tempted to use this yarn to knit one of those shawls that I've just done, because I think it'd look really nice. See, back here is what the colour is. Here you can see the actual spinning. Really pleased with it. It was a really simple, straightforward, easy spin. I do love knitting colour, the prep and the dye. I just think it's just always so much fun to spin, and I'm really fond of Targhee now. It's a fantastic fibre, and I'll definitely be getting more of it. But I think it'd make a really nice shawl. I think that's what it's got to be when I've got 375 meters of heavy fingering weight. It's got to be, really, hasn't it? So yeah, I've been doing quite a lot of spinning recently. I just didn't have the brain capacity to knit anything fancy, I don't think. Don't know why, I just didn't. So now that's the end of Done and Dusted. Got nose to the grindstone. First of all, I have the Doodler, which is a Stephen West pattern. It was originally written as a mystery knit along, sort of back end of last year, and I've got to the very last part of the knitting. So look at this crumpled mess. Isn't it fantastic? I bet you're really excited about seeing a crumpled mess, aren't you? I have had so much fun with this shawl, and I've got to the tedious bit now. The tedious bit is taking these stitches that are on waste yarn, which are in the blue, and then you pick them up and anchor them over the grey. So sort of, it's hard to show you. And then you make these little picots, and obviously when you block them out they'll sit better. At the moment they're just like flicking back, but they'll hopefully stretch out a bit better, and you'll be able to see the way those stitches cross over the grey, and you get these, basically it's on the sort of scallopy bits, that's where you've got that. So I've only got I've only got 2 more sets to do, but it's kind of tedious and you have to look at what you're doing, because it's picots and you're picking stitches up and stuff like that. So it's basically around to a halt because I was bored. But I really want the shawl because I think it's going to be great to wear it. Yeah, I love the colour. I love the colour combination with the light grey, the dark grey and the bright blue. The light grey is Eden Cottage yarns, and I think that's Pendle. Let me just double check my own notes. Yeah, Pendle in steel. The dark grey, which is the bit that goes across the top, is the Yarn Yard, and I'll show you the right side. The Yarn Yard and the colourway. The yarn is Clan and the colourway is Waverley. And then the blue is Countess. See, that's the blue. It's Countess Blaze, and again it's Lady Persephone sock in the Persia colourway. So I think it's going to block out a lot bigger. I mean, it's not small without being blocked, but I think there's quite a lot of stretch there. I think it'll be a good arm span, and it'll go down quite a lot further when I block out the bottom sort of garter stitch scallops and things. So I do want to get that finished, so I'm going to get on with that this week. I'm going to knuckle down and get boring stuff done. Don't like the boring stuff, especially if it's fiddly boring stuff. Oh, the bag, by the way, is I've forgotten. It's a great bag. I really like it. Lowland Originals on Etsy, and it's incredibly well made. It's very sturdy. It's a good size for these sort of larger shawl projects, and I do recommend it. Next off, I have the socks that I showed you last episode, and I've really not got much further. I have finished my first sock. That's it. I've not even started the next sock. I just finished this one. I think it's because the only bit I have to think about when doing the socks is the toe, and it's toe up. So I've not sort of knuckled down and got on with the toe shaping for my next sock, because once that's done I don't have to think about it and I can just go around in circles until I get to the heel, and that's just back and forth, and then it's round in circles again. So I have to say I love this yarn. It's fantastic. It's Knitting Goddess. It's 4-ply merino nylon, and I got it at Fibre East in 2014. I'm not sure they do this yarn still, but it's just a fantastic base. It's got really tight ply, but it's really squishy as well. And yeah, I really want to get the other one done because I really like these socks and I want to wear them. I just think they're really good fun. They'll match my new shawl when I finish that as well. So yeah, I must get on with that and get started. But it's yeah, I've been a bit obsessed with the new shawl pattern. It's been a bit filling my head a bit, which on that next note I shall show you what I've been doing with the same shawl pattern but in a different yarn. Again, that's the true colour, and that's what the yarn looks like. Let's see if I can see. It's quite, there we go, it's really soft and got a really nice halo to it. Now this is yarn from the Wool Barn. There we go, on Etsy, and you may recognise the fact that this yarn is the exact duplicate of one of the prizes for the knit along, and it's alpaca sock, and it's 70% natural light grey baby alpaca, 20% silk and 10% cashmere. It's 100 grams and it's 400 meters or 436 yards. And oh my god, this stuff is soft. It is amazing. I just love it. I want to finish it because I want to wear it because it's just so soft. It's unbelievably soft, and I love the colour. It's just this really nice sort of almost blue grey sort of I mean the colourway is denim, so it's obviously a blue dye over a grey yarn, and it's just beautiful. And I think it'll go with so many of my clothes because it's this nice neutral grey colour, even if it's got a slight blue hint to it. And this is me testing my pattern that I've typed up. So once this is finished and blocked to my satisfaction, I shall be asking for testers. which I'll probably be at this rate be the next episode because I'm just can't stop knitting on this. It's just a really good, fun, easy pattern, and I'm really pleased with it. And it's perfect for those bright, colourful souvenir sock skeins that we so often buy. So I'm really pleased with how that's gone. So hopefully that will be finished off to show you and done and dusted in the next episode. The other things I'm working on at the moment are spinning. So the first one looks very interesting. This is a plying ball. I have been spinning on fondant fibre superwash merino nylon in the campfire colourway, and I've spun it as quite a fine weight single. Let me see if I can show you without the whole thing ended up on the floor. Quite fine, I think. And doing it as a true 3-ply, and I'm doing it to make sock yarn, which I've not done in quite a while actually. I think it will probably end up being a heavy fingering weight, if not a sport weight, because of it being a 3-ply. But you can't really see the really great colours. It's got these fantastic sort of browns and greys and blacks. I guess you can see. But that is, the plying ball is where you take the 3 singles, hold them together and wind them into a ball. So it evens out the tension, sort of gets rid of any sort of little pigtails that happen, and it kind of makes it a lot easier to ply because it's all been evened out and it sort of relaxes into that shape. And I wind my plying balls around, I don't know if I've got any near to me, I don't think I have. I ply them around a little ball that I make from fibre and needle felt it into a ball, and about yay big, and it's really good to wind around it because it sort of sticks to the wool of the felted ball, so when you wind it round it doesn't slip and unravel, and it's got some give to it, it's not too rigid. So that's what I used to do my plying balls, and that's what that is. So hopefully this next week I will ply that up. It'll probably take a while because I think there is quite a lot of yardage there, so I don't know if it'll be finished by the next episode, but I hope it will, because I would really like to knit some more socks from Handspun Yarn. It's always nice to have I've only got 1 pair of socks which is from Handspun Yarn and I love them, so I would like another pair. So that is that spinning. My other spinning project is quite large scale. It is in here. It's like my spinning bag. It's from Fondant Fibre. I love it. So cute. What I am currently working on is a huge bag of different natural coloured Shetland fibre. And I made some Rolags, and I have been spinning it up. I do love spinning Rolags. They're just so easy to spin. Aren't they fantastic? So I've got a blending board, and that's what I use to make the Rolags, which is why the Rolags are about that long. So I tend to just sort of pull them apart in the middle so they don't get sort of snarled up around the spindle. But that's what I've got so far. I've got that and that. That's what I've got so far, which isn't even half of this natural colour. This fibre that I'm currently working on it's from Barber Black Sheep, and it's actually Jameson & Smith's natural Shetland top, which is the same top that they use for their Spindrift yarn. So I've knit quite a lot in the Spindrift and I like it, and that's why I decided to try it. But I also really like this sort of nice creamy colour. I think it would be a nice colour to work with. And what I have in here is, that's from Sarah Texture Crafts, and that's 200 grams of this really nice dark chocolate coloured Shetland. And then I have in here 2 more colours. I think there's enough, or maybe not enough difference between those two. We'll see. I think it's paler. It's probably just through the plastic. Yeah, that's paler. It's like a milk chocolate as opposed to a dark chocolate. But these two are from the Wool Bothy, or Bothy. I think it's Bothy. That's how I would pronounce it. The Wool Bothy, and they're on Etsy, and this is from their own sheep. And I think I know the shepherdess. I think she's on Ravelry, and I think I've spoken to her a couple of times, either on Ravelry or on Instagram. But the fibre is fantastic. It just is so soft, even in comparison to the Jameson and Smith that I've been working with right now. So this is kind of a big scale spinning project. I started thinking about it when Louise of Knit British did the sort of Knit Local project, and that's when I bought the fibre, because what I wanted to do was spin the Shetland and then knit it into probably a hat style blanket or shawl. But it didn't happen. I got sidetracked. I don't know what happened. I got distracted. It just didn't happen. And when I was at the guild meeting, there were an awful lot of people spinning with natural fibres, and there were people with, you know, masses of Rolags in baskets and things. And I was like, I want to do that. So I just pulled it all out and blended up the Spindrift colourway, and that's how far I've got in 3 days. 3 days of spinning. So what I'll do is when I get to the end of spinning that lot, I shall make Rolags out of the next batch, and I'll just keep making Rolags and spinning until it's all gone. And hopefully I'll either make it into something colourworky, something stranded, or something striped. See which one sort of springs to mind. I won't really know until I've got the finished results. But I love spinning Shetland. It's just, I think it's a nice easy fibre to spin. There's enough grip that it doesn't all fall apart as you're spinning, but you've also got the staple length is long enough that it doesn't all fall apart as you're spinning it. It's not merino soft, it's not BFL soft, but it's not rip your fingers to shreds harsh. And I like the idea of it being Shetland. It's, you know, part of our heritage. It's a British sheep, and I like the idea of spinning it, and I also love the way Shetland wool feels after you've worked it and you've knit it and you've washed it, and it just gets softer with each time you wash and wear it. And I love the fact that it just doesn't pill. It wears like iron, and when I finish with it, it'll probably get passed down to my niece and her children because it will last. It's Shetland. It's pretty tough stuff. So that's another reason I like it. I think that's it for Nose to the Grindstone. So next up we have plotting. Just realised I've got bits of fluff on me, or bits of veg matter actually. Plotting. I got sidetracked with my new shawl pattern, because before that I wound up these 2 cakes, actually brighter than they look, sort of. There's quite some bright green hints to it as well. Hard to tell, doesn't really show up very well. This yarn is Posh yarn, and it's Gretchen sock, which is 50% merino, 50% silk. It's a gorgeous, soft, lustrous yarn. And what was the name of the colourway? Titania's Couch. I love that. I love the names that Dee comes up with for her colourways. I think they're great. But I love this colour. I think it's fantastic. So the idea being is that I will write up the pattern properly from my big shawl that I showed you in the last episode that was based on my refraction shawl. And that's going to take quite a while, because unlike the pattern I've just finished, I didn't write it up as I went along, and there's about 4 different lace charts, so it wouldn't take me long to knit. It'll probably take me longer to write the pattern up than it will to knit it. So I'm like, it's a bit of a job, but I really want that shawl. Really want to make that shawl, because I really love the one that I've been wearing, that I finished. It's been really nice to wear it. So I kind of want to get something a bit more decadent in a slightly more variegated hue. It's not variegated, it's more like a semi-solid, but there are different layers of green within it, which I think will be more evident when it's all knitted up. So that's my big plot. My second plot, which is a little plot, is to make a present for my nephew's 3rd birthday, which is in March, and I haven't got a clue what I'm going to do. I think I might make, you know, I showed you the stuffed cat toy, or toy cat rather than cat toy, that I made for Christmas and didn't give away. I might tweak that pattern and finish that up and make that for him, because he does like his cat a lot. And I've got some really nice cascade in a sort of deep rust marmalade-y colour, which is kind of the colour of their cat, and I think it'd be nice to make one in that colour. So I think that's my other big plotting concept. I have splashed out, and it's stuff that I've had for a while, most of it. I still haven't finished going through all the stuff I bought in the sales. I think this is nearly it though. I think this is nearly it. So first off, after knitting colour that I've just finished spinning, isn't this amazing? It's just incredible. I love it. It's from Knitting Colour. It's Superwash Targhee again, and the colourway is Trance, and I love the feel of Targhee. It's just got so much substance and bounce to it, and it's just going to be so much fun to spin this. It's going to be amazing. So I am a big fan of Knitting Colour, and I can quite often get a braid of fibre from there that comes under the £15 limit. I hope prices don't rise or the exchange rates change. The other fibre I've got is from Northbound Knitting. I love Northbound Knitting. I love her colourways. I love her yarns, and I think I've spun some of her fibre once, possibly twice before, and I really enjoyed it. And this, I think, is rather fantastic. It is grey merino, and the colourway is Warm Spell, and it's 4 ounces. So I've got the natural grey merino with these fantastic sort of rust orange and yellow splashes to it, and it is so soft. I mean, the micron count must be quite low. It's just so soft. Make it into a little pillow. I would just be so happy just to have this attached to my face so I can lie down anywhere I go. So soft. So I'm very vinegary. But that's really, really happy to have got my hands on that, because I love Northbound Knitting by The Prep. It's beautiful, so soft and well prepared, as is the knitting colour. I've got 2 yarns to show you, because when I bought the Countess Ablaze yarn that I used for my shawl, I also bought this. Are you sort of sensing a bit of a grey rust theme here from today? This is Viscount of Spark in the Urbex colourway, and that is a new colourway that she's added to her regular repeatable colourways, and it's fantastic. That's a really sort of accurate representation of the colour. Now, Viscount of Spark is 75% merino, 20% nylon and 5% stellina, and its fingering weight, it's 100 grams and there's 400 meters, and I love this yarn. It's really, really soft, it's got really nice bounce to it, and it's got that little bit of sparkle too. And I saw this colourway when she first released it, and she released it on, I think it was on some lace weight, and I just really liked it, but I don't really use lace weight much these days. And when I've sort of kept my eye out on it because I really wanted some. So when it came time to spend money on my Christmas vouchers at Countess Ablaze, and I saw this in the shop, I was like, yes, having some of that. I really love it. It's just got such richness to the colour. So, and I didn't feel too bad because I had vouchers go towards it. Finally, I have something rather special. Now, this is a sock yarn from Scrumptious Pearl, and I've seen Scrumptious Pearl sock yarns on Etsy. It keeps coming up my recommended things to buy feed on Etsy, and I kept saying, yes, I would like to buy that. That is beautiful looking yarn. I can't afford it because of the customs charges. And then I also keep an eye out on the Golden Skein, which is a yarn club, which do a Power of 3 club quarterly, whereby they give a specific photo to 3 different dyers to use as inspiration, and those 3 dyers come up with their own colourways and bases, and that's what's sent out. You get a big parcel with 3 different skeins of yarn from 3 different dyers, but kind of around a similar theme. And this one, when it came up, I was like, I have to have it. I was so relieved to see they had a couple extra in stock after the club had gone out, because what they do with the club is, if there's any left over after the club has gone out, they offer it for a limited amount of time to people who bought the club, so they can buy any of those extra skeins if they want to do a bigger project, and then it's made available to the public. So I kind of follow them on Facebook and Instagram and things like that, and when it came up saying it's available, I was like, click on that, because I really wanted it, because it was, for one thing, I loved the photo. Isn't that beautiful? It's not, you obviously can't see it as well because it's just a photo on a card image, which is via another camera. It's not great, but it's a fantastic image. And the photo is 2 penguins by Tambaco the Jaguar, and it was for winter 2015. And Scrumptious Pearl dyed their Stripe Me Up, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It's 400 yards, which is 365 meters, over 100 grams, and the colorway is Tuxedo Junction, which I think is good. It's a good name, and I just fell for that yellow. There are not many yellows I like, but that is one of them. It's almost like a really rich yolk on organic farm bought eggs. It's just fantastic. Really love it. And together with the grey and the black, I love me some self-striping yarns for my socks. You know this to be true. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to have this because it just ticks all my boxes. It's from a dyer that I've seen and wanted to try. It's on a nice base, it's self-striping, and it's great colours. So it was slightly more expensive than I would like. However, it was still significantly cheaper than me buying it from the US, having to pay the postage and having to pay the customs charges on it. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a win in this bargain, because I don't know how else I'm going to get my hands on any of this yarn again. But I love it. I think it's beautiful. Can't wait to knit with it. I have so many things that I want to knit next, sock yarn wise. I'm trying to buy fewer sock yarn skeins, but I'm failing. I can't help myself. I really can't. So that is it for Splashed Out this episode. I think I've whipped through this episode this week. It's gone quite quickly. I don't know why. It's just gone really fast. I think it's because of the little extras that I sometimes put in, like community live crafting library and things like that. I've not done anything like that for you this week, and I've not pulled out anything blast from the past or anything like that. I just thought I want to sit down and chat because I don't know when I'll get the opportunity to do it again, because I don't really like to record over the weekend because I get self-conscious because there's somebody else in the house listening to me rabbit on to myself. I just feel really self-conscious. I know I'm not the only one who feels this way in the podcast community. I think there's a lot of us who get a bit distracted and self-conscious when there's someone else in the house. So finally, I just wanted to mention for online community this episode that we have had an amazing donation to the prize fund. We had a very kind anonymous donator who contacted me she contacted me when I was still doing the audio podcast and donated when I was just started with the video podcast. She sent a big bag of her stash yarn to give away as prizes, and we were coming up to the bottom of that bag. I think there's one skein left from her donation, and she contacted me and said, I'm having another clear out, do you want some? I was like, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, because I know what your stash looks like and it's gorgeous and it would be nice to share it with all you lovely watchers. So watchers, viewers, brain's not functioning properly, never does, but you know, I'd just like to say it was a little slip up caused by the drugs. You believe me, don't you? Yes, say yes. So she said, oh, I'll pop something into the post to you. So I got a knock on the door and it was a humongous box. It was this big, this deep, this deep. I couldn't believe it when I saw the box. My eyes nearly popped out my head. So I opened it up and there is some beautiful yarn and some incredible fibre as well. So it's probably about 50-50. So we've got some fibre that we'll be able to use the next time we do a spin along, which is good. And some of it's really beautiful, as is the yarn. And there's some really special yarn in there that I think you're going to be very, very pleased with. I'm going to say one word, Vollmeister. Vollmeister. 2 skeins in the same colourway. Yep, that's going to be a prize soon. So yeah, I know a lot of people covet Vollmeister and don't know how to go about getting hold of it themselves. So it's always nice to be able to give that away. Normally I don't give that away, I keep it. My Vollmeister is mine. It's not going anywhere. I think I put some in D-stash once because it wasn't quite the colour I was looking for when it arrived, but that's it. Everything else stays. So that's kind of typical of the rest of the yarn. So it's all really amazing stuff. And I just wanted to let you know that there'll be some good prizes coming in the future, and to say thank you so very much to the anonymous donator. You know who you are. I have thanked you in private, but I'm also thanking you publicly. It is greatly appreciated, and I know that everyone who receives prizes in the next year will be immensely grateful to you. So thank you very, very kindly for your generosity. It is very much appreciated. And on that note, I think I'll press the stop button because I run out of things to talk about, which I know is rare, very rare, but also my throat is getting scratchy. I don't know if you can hear it, but it feels really scratchy. So I shall get on with tinkering with this and uploading it, and hopefully it will be available for you to have a look at Saturday morning. So take care of yourselves, have a good weekend, have fun with your crafting, and hopefully I will speak to you again soon. Bye.